Are you afraid that you're going to have to change your career because of AI? I got a question for you because you're the policymaker.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hypothetically, you write 10 beautiful policies and they work really well, they're very effective. You did that with your hand. I take your policies, I put them in the AI. It studies your way of thinking. It studies your style. I come up with 10 new, beautiful, amazing policies, and 3 of them go into law. Do I have to pay you? Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. In this video, we're talking about AI. We're already seeing jobs like copywriting, graphic design, and customer service being hit really hard by AI. Who knows what will happen in the future and how this will continue to evolve, but today we're talking with people from all around the world to see what their careers are, to see if they feel like they're in danger of having to change their careers because of AI. Also, if you're currently studying English and you want a structured way to learn, I recently released my course, Sean의 살아있는 영어. If you're interested, click the link down below. All right, without further ado, let's begin. Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? How's it going?
Hi, my name's Kiri. I'm from America, and things are going pretty good right now.
What are you doing in Korea?
Right now, I am studying abroad at Yonsei University for a semester, and I leave in like 3 weeks.
Oh, so you're almost done here.
Yeah, but I am gonna come back in like February.
Okay, so you like being here?
Yeah, I really do. I like how pretty it is here, and I really like the food.
Your headphones are pretty cool, by the way.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I love Spider-Man, so yeah. I really like
all right, cool. Are you afraid of losing your job because of AI?
Okay, well, my future job is going to be like a crime scene investigator, and I do feel like they could use AI to help with like the investigation and stuff, but I do feel like it would cost a lot of money to provide that much AI for that. And also, if they do make a mistake or miss like a crucial detail, that could be like fatal, or it could be like really big.
I could just imagine it's like the AI points you to the fact that the evidence is like the guy with the yellow hat is the criminal, but actually it was the guy with the blue hat or something.
Right.
It's just like a huge mistake. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So on that end, it's almost like a doctor or a lawyer or something. Every detail has to be so perfect,
right,
that if it's not, there could be a huge consequence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking, like, I don't think I would have to worry about losing or risking like losing my job or like changing professions entirely. But yeah.
Right, you can't really automate that either.
Right.
Like it's so case by case, no pun intended.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, that was funny.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm from France, and people here call me Riku.
Riku. Yes. Ooh, I like it. What brings you to Korea?
Because I like the culture, the K-pop, K-drama.
So what do you do for a living? Like, what is your career?
I'm a freelancer in design. I make some logos, posters, visuals in social media for a company in France.
Yeah.
So I work in remote in South Korea, and I'm here for 1 year to discover the culture, talk with people, and...
Nice. You're allowed to work for this French company abroad here in South Korea.
Yes.
And you have a working holiday visa.
Yes.
That's a great situation. I gotta ask though, Riku, you've seen AI generated art. You've seen DALL-E, you've seen Midjourney. What do you think about that and the future and your career as a designer?
I think, yes, some company will want to work with AI.
Instead of a person.
Instead of person, but...
It hasn't affected you though, huh?
No.
That's great.
I saw a lot of designers talk about the problem of AI, but for me, I think we need to learn to work with AI, to work faster, to have more idea or find more ways to do our job more quickly and more faster. So for me, I'm not afraid about it.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm from the Netherlands.
So what brings you to Korea?
I'm just on a visit here, visiting some friends. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, you're just traveling?
Yeah. I studied Chinese in Taipei, but I bailed, so it's too hard.
How are you liking Korea? Is it all right?
Yeah, I love it. I like it a lot more than Taipei, so...
Oh, maybe you should study here.
Yeah, it would have been a better option, but I'm out of money right now, so that's not a...
That's life, right?
Yeah, it is what it is.
What career do you hope to get into?
A career in politics would be nice, but it's a lot of work.
Do you want to be like a politician?
Oh, no. Just like, maybe like policy making.
So like making better laws that help us live safer and happier lives.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, don't put your trash in front of your house, put it behind your house. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Are you at all afraid that AI will kind of replace humans in this regard in terms of politics?
In politics, as we're talking about policy writing, maybe it could could replace people who write policies, as it could propose a better solution than the policymakers themselves, based on like computer science or whatever it's behind it.
So maybe the AI could write better policy.
Yeah, it could. It could. You know, it's because it's a problem-solving tool as well, right? AI.
Right.
And policy making is problem-solving. So.
Hey guys, how's it going? What are your names and where are you from?
My name's Jada and I'm from Michigan.
Okay.
And my name's Emma. I'm from the United States.
What brings you guys to Korea?
So we're both actually studying at Yonsei. I'm an exchange student, but she's a full-time student.
Are you enjoying Korea, living here?
I love it so far. I've only been here since February, but yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it. I enjoy it a lot.
Good to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a scholarship student, so I've been here for a few years, but I have different experiences than study abroad when you're full-time, though.
Sure, some positive, some negative.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as any country, though.
Heard that. Are you afraid that you're going to have to change your careers, change your field of study due to the displacement of jobs of AI?
Personally, I think my career aspects won't entirely be like taken over by AI. I think I have a lot of leniency because of what I study. My major is global studies and social impact, and I minor in political science.
I think there's actually a possibility that it might open paths, because for my major, I study human rights a lot, and so there's a lot of discussion right now about how like privacy breaches or automated decision making, how that might take accountability away from businesses and affect our human rights. So
That's interesting.
It could open paths. I don't know. It depends on which route I take human rights. So.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Franca, I'm from Germany.
What brings you to South Korea?
So I was traveling in Japan and my flight is cheaper from here, so that's why I'm here. And I have a nice tattoo artist who I will get a tattoo from tomorrow.
So can I ask, what do you do for a living, or what is your career?
I will study theater pedagogy.
Are you afraid that you're going to have to change your career because of AI?
I'm in theater, I think. I'm not afraid of losing anything.
You feel safe?
Yes, I feel safe.
Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from?
My name's Josh. I'm from the UK and I'm studying at Yonsei at the moment in Korea.
Cool. Can I ask what you're studying?
I study business or international business.
So you're in Korea. You enjoying your time here so far?
Yeah, I've loved it. It's way better than the UK, but that's in my opinion.
Are you afraid you might have to change your career, or you might lose your job due to AI?
Being a student at the moment, I feel like it's definitely a worry for a lot of people because every year it just gets better and better, and you see it just taking more jobs, more difficult jobs, and I just don't know where it's going to stop, but I don't know if it's going to optimize and help you or completely take your job. I feel like there's a very fine line that it could be between.
What job will you go to that you think is safe? Because you're still young, I think.
Yeah, I'm 19, so really young. I'm interested in tourism and everything that is towards the client, because clients need some human connection sometimes. So I think that this cannot and will never be replaced by AI because we need human connection.
We need human connection.
Yeah.
Would you ever use an AI therapist?
No.
Can't trust it?
I can talk like to ChatGPT, but it's not like talking to a real person. It would be pretty depressing.
What if the data said that it's actually more effective than talking to a human?
Then maybe I would try it, but I doubt that it would be really
effective.
Yeah.
Recently, I saw a video of an AI generated Ryan Gosling explaining a really complicated thing. They matched his voice and his mouth movement, and it looked like he was explaining AI in the video. Just poking you right now, maybe it's not true, but devil's advocate, what if they were able to replace acting, theater? What would you do?
then I would go to Portugal and work there on a farm and just live my life there. Yeah, like my mother is a waiter, so I was with her in Japan, and for her it was very weird to see, like, because she said, oh yeah, but you see, like, they don't need me anymore, like, because of this. So maybe, like, for some people they might feel useless, or they might feel like they cannot do anything. For me, it's just I know I like to work, so I will find some work for me to do. I would not, like, if they want to replace me, I will find a way not to be replaced, I guess.
You're not afraid of that.
No.
That's great. What would be something you would maybe have to change to if you would need to, in terms of like a major or a career?
Well, I can always teach English in somewhere, or teach, like, I like diving, that's another thing.
Diving?
You can't really, I don't think AI is going to replace teaching people diving. I hope I'm not wrong on that, because otherwise I'm screwed.
What jobs do you think are in the most danger right now
With AI,
these days?
illustrator, illustration, and painter too are the most in danger, and photography too, I think.
Photography, really?
Yeah, because a lot of pictures are created with AI, actually. When you want to upscale a picture, a lot of people work with AI to upscale.
Some of my friends are like software engineers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big danger for them, right? For software engineers. So yeah, definitely.
Are they feeling the heat?
Yeah.
Maybe my father's job, because he works at Philip Morris, like making cigarettes and like stuff like that. Maybe that could be a danger, but he is retiring soon, so he's fine.
Okay. He chose the right time to retire.
Yeah.
My partner is a film major, and there's, like, the whole strike going on with filmmakers, and I know that industry is really getting hit the hardest.
Can I ask, like, what is the strike about?
So, like, people are just striking out against the use of AI over hiring people, or just using AI to cut costs instead.
I got a question for you, because you're the policymaker.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hypothetically,
Yeah.
you write 10 beautiful policies, I don't know, and they work really well, they're very effective.
Yeah.
You did that with your hand. I take your policies, I put them in the AI,
Yeah.
it studies your way of thinking, it studies your style. I come up with 10 new, beautiful, amazing policies, and 3 of them go into law. Do I have to pay you? It studied everything you do.
Exactly. I'd say yeah.
Well, how is that different though from a human studying a really good policy maker?
True.
We all get inspired by everything anyway, right?
Yeah.
I just want to know what the difference is.
But you know, people gotta make their bread, right? So
Gotta make that bread.
So like, maybe we should put up some protective laws to be like, okay, a computer doesn't need to eat. I need to eat.
Maybe you
I
gotta
need
write
money
a-
to eat.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe you got to write a policy.
Yeah. Okay.
So is it worth keeping around jobs that we can replace, but we're not, just to keep people with jobs, even though we can replace them?
You know, if this is something, automation is also something like that, right? Where they replace truck drivers. If there's like different jobs available at that point, I feel like then it's okay. But you know, if the job market is scarce, and I feel like we should keep those jobs around just for people to eat. Because you gotta eat. Yeah, that's my opinion.
For me, it's such a gray area because it's like we're intentionally halting progress.
Yeah.
In order for people to have jobs that we don't really even need them to work.
Yeah. I feel that. I would agree with that. But at the same time, I feel like the world also works in a way where if you lose your job, you're the one that has to look for another one, and no one is gonna find another one for you. So then, that's where I'm coming from.
Like, I feel like, because to prove that, it's just so difficult. There's so much information that they get.
To prove it's
the hard part. But.
What are we gonna do if we have no work, or it's not like we can spend money on any
UBI.
Right? True. Fair point.
Universal basic income, maybe that's the inevitable future, right?
Don't mind it.
Don't mind it.
Don't mind it. There's benefits.
I mean, because technology is inherently deflationary. What I mean is, the better technology gets, the more resources we're gonna have. Right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah, lately in TikTok, you can see a lot of music generated by AI, and I think it's pretty interesting to listen to it. And it's really well made. You can barely hear that it's made by AI.
Singing Carolina, oh, it's a long and winding road. Ooh, but if you're ever lonely, you don't have to ride alone. Saying Carolina, child, you've been.
It's good, so it's really scary. Yeah.
Because the crazy thing is, people thought the first thing that would be like in danger would be accountants, lawyers, like stuff like this, technical with numbers. But the first thing we're seeing now is like design, art. Just like it totally it goes against anything you would logically guess, right? I think the scariest thing about AI is like you don't have to pay it. It doesn't complain. It's never late. It makes less mistakes.
And it has no emotions.
No emotions. You don't have to tip it. It doesn't need health insurance. Like,
But it's still not perfect. There's still like a little bit you can tell. It's just copying. It's not making its own stuff, which is at the end of the day.
Right.
No, it's not original.
Isn't that what humans do with our subconscious?
Nah. Not good artists at least. I don't know. Maybe the bad ones.
So you believe in original art?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't personally seen it, but I am terrified at the idea that AI can be used to make deep fakes of people to commit sexual violence against them. That terrifies me.
You could take someone's head and make an adult video with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And put it on a different body, or even an AI what they think that person might look like naked. Getting graphic here, but
That's it's horrifying.
it's a real situation.
I think a lot of I can't speak for other people, but I know a lot of like women in my life. The idea of that scares them, and it could be the future if there's not like very strict laws. I don't know.
What if a company was like, we're going to give you $3,000 a month, but we're going to put you in adult videos. You don't have to film or do anything, but we're just going to use your likeness. $3,000 a month. You don't have to do anything.
Are you just asking if we would say yes or
Theoretically, yeah. Would you take the money and be like, sure, use my likeness? Use my image.
Personally, no.
Okay.
But I feel like, I don't know.
You might do it.
Other people might. Yeah, I will. And
It's money, but like for personal values, I feel like it could set a precedent that it could be used like by bad actors. Like in the situation you're using, it's obviously like a way to not have to use your body personally, and you can just like have a computer program it. It's not even you. It could look like anything. But just I think if this is allowed, then bad actors can use it for bad reasons.
So when I first came to Korea, I didn't speak any Korean. I had to teach myself Korean. I started learning how to read and write. Then I learned the 100 most commonly used verbs in Korean. You know, things like 먹다, 하다, 쓰다, these kinds of verbs. I eventually started listening to easy conversations, easy dialogues in Korean. And let me tell you, this was the most helpful thing I did. If you're learning English, it's really important to listen to real conversations where you can hear useful expressions, useful words, useful grammar, and natural pronunciation. That's why I made seok의 살아있는 영어. I came up with a list of extremely useful conversational English questions, answers to these questions, and other expressions. I explain all of these expressions in detail in Korean. I give you several example sentences showing you how to use the expressions, and then, this is the best part, I go out into the streets and interview extremely fluent and native English speakers using these expressions so you can see in real time, living, breathing English, how it's used and how to respond naturally to everything. This is the course I wish I had when I was studying Korean. This course is perfect for people preparing for working holiday, studying abroad, traveling abroad, meeting foreign friends, meeting your foreign romantic partner's family. So far, people are loving it. To see a free sample lesson, click the link down below.
Alright everyone, did you enjoy this video? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, once again, I recently released an English course, seok의 살아있는 영어. Click the link down below to see a free sample lesson. Once again, I'm Sean, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.